पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Pranams everyone. We are in chapter 4, Sloka number 33. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Shreyan Dravyamaya Yajñat Jnāna-Yajñah parantapa Sarvam karma khilam partha Jnāne parisamāpyate. So Bhagavan, after listing down all the yajñas as all the sadhanas as yajñas, he had now qualified that Jnāna-Yajña is the most superior, is the greatest sadhana. Jnāna-Yajña is the greatest sadhana. All other sadhanas are inferior to Jnāna-Yajña. That is what Bhagavan had called out in this sloka. And why is that so? Because all these other yajñas or all these sadhanas other than Jnana sadhana, they give us only impermanent benefit, transient benefit. They are all born out of actions, and therefore it can be started at a time, ended in a time, and their results are also temporary. Furthermore, if we look at it from an Atma-Yajña sadhana standpoint, Atma-Yajña sadhana gives us all kinds of purusharthas. It gives us permanent benefit. Moksha is one after which we one that is attained, after which we need not go back to samsara. We will never go back to samsara. It's a permanent benefit, and it is that moksha includes all other purusharthas within itself. All other purusharthas are a means to moksha. The third thing is that why Atma-Jnana sadhana is important is all other sadhanas, if we continue to do without our Atma-Jnana, we continue to have this feeling of aham karta, aham bhokta. This feeling of kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam will always remain with us. And therefore, we will never be able to remove our ahankara. And moksha is all about removing ahankara. And therefore, Atma-Jnana sadhana is the only one which actually is able to remove our kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam. And therefore, Atma-Jnana sadhana is the highest sadhana. Then we saw that how Atma-Jnana sadhana gives us punya, and it gives us the highest punya. It gives us more punya than any other sadhana. But having said that, if a person does Jnana-Yajña, Jnana-Yoga as a sadhana, as in Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and if the knowledge is not, if the person is not able to grasp that knowledge, then we understand, and we must understand that there is some issue in our mind that needs to be cleared. And for that, the other sadhanas are very important. The other sadhanas are necessary for cleansing the mind, for purifying the mind, for bringing the mind to a single pointed focus. So here Bhagavan Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajñat Jnāna-Yajñah parantapa Jnāna-Yajñah Shreyan Yajñat Dravyamayat. He said Jnāna-Yajña is superior to other yajñas involving materials. Partha. Then in the second line Bhagavan says Sarvam karma kilam partha Jnāne parisamāpyate. Partha, O Partha, Arjuna, Sarvam Karvam. Sarvam Karmam. Sarvam Karma means every action. Every action. Bhagavan further qualifies that. He says, Akilam. Akilam means in its entirety, without any exception. Parisamāpyate Jnāne. They culminate in knowledge. In the sense, once we attain Jnana, all actions will leave us. In the sense, we do not let go of it. The actions themselves will leave us. Now, Sarvam Karma Akilam Partha Jnāne Parisamāpyate. This Sarvam Karma Akilam Parisamāpyate. All actions culminates in knowledge. It has got two meanings here. Culminates, ends. We will not take the knowledge there. All actions culminates or ends here. Or how it has got two meanings. One is all actions come entirely into a stop. Now, if we look into our mind, what happens generally, even as we are sitting in this class, probably we are thinking about what we have to do next. Tomorrow is Diwali, what we have to do. Tonight, what we have to do. This has to be done, that has to be done. There is always something in the mind that goes on to say, this has to be done, that has to be accomplished. The mind is never at rest in thinking about what needs to be done. Here Bhagavan says, once we get this jnana, that everything will come to a stop. We will get a mindset where there is nothing more to accomplish. And nothing more to accomplish, whether it is Laukika karma, Vaidika karma, Shrauta karma, Smarta karma, whatever, nothing that needs to be done. There is a feeling of Kritakrityaha. Bhagavan has used this before. Kritakrityaha means all has been done. Everything that needs to be done has been done. And this feeling of everything has been accomplished cannot be got from any other sadhana. The mind will always think of, I need to do this, I need to do that. That can be put to a stop only from jnana. Once we get this jnana, there is nothing to be accomplished. I need to do, I need to achieve this, I need to go there, I need to see this, I need to experience that. There is no such feeling in the mind. Kritakrityaha. Everything that needs to be accomplished has been accomplished. So this is one meaning of Sarvam Karma Kilam Parisamāpyate. The second meaning is all the results of action. When we say Sarvam Karma Akilam, here karma means we can also take karma palam. Karma palam, all results of action, karma palam, are removed from its root. So what are the results of action? If we remember, the results of the actions are either it is agami karma or sanchita karma. So whatever I am doing, either it can go back to sanchita, the results of it, or it will come back in the same life as agami. So here parisamāpyate should be taken as nirmūlyate. Nirmūlyate means removed from the root. So jnāne prapte sahi, once we have attained jnana, sarvam karma phalamakilam nirmūlyate. All the results of the action are removed from its root. So which means there will be no agami karma for us, no sanchita karma for this. Prarabdha karma will have to be exhausted anyway. So if you look at it, there are two meanings we said. One is there is nothing more to accomplish. Krityaha. I have accomplished everything that I need to accomplish. That is one meaning. The second meaning for the same sarva karma akilam partha, it means that karma phalam are all removed from root, nirmūlyate. If you look at it, what is actually jīvanmukti? Jīvanmukti is there is no feeling of accomplishing something. I am contented with what I am. That is jīvanmukti. So this word, this sentence can mean jīvanmukti. Now when we take sarvam karma palam akilam nirmūlyate, all the results of action are removed from its root. If we take that as the meaning, then there is, if you see this, if these sanchita karma and agami karma are removed, then there is no rebirth. For rebirth, you need to have sanchita karma. There is no rebirth. Then which means this is videhamukti. So the first meaning is jīvanmukti, as in getting contentment here and now. The second meaning is videhamukti, that is once the prarabdha karma is exhausted, there is no rebirth, as sanchita karma is burnt, agami karma is avoided. So this phrase can mean jīvanmukti and videhamukti, as in once we attain jnana, a person gets jīvanmukti as well as videhamukti. And what Bhagavan says here, any action that we do in life, anything that we do in life, we have to evaluate and see whether it will take me to jnana or not. Sarvam karma akilam partha jnane parisamāpyate. Every action without exception culminates in knowledge. So we'll have to see whether all our actions do culminate there, as in end there, as in take me to there, as in every sadhana that I do perform, whether it will take me closer to jnana, as in either it has to be jnana itself or it has to be a purification sadhana which will help me to attain jnana, as in be able to understand that knowledge. If it takes us to jnana, then only that action can be called as sadhana. If it does not, then whatever we do, whether it is meditation, yoga, whatever we do, if it does not take us to jnana, then it cannot be called as a sadhana. And we need not do any sadhana that do not take us to jnana. So if there is some sadhana that we want to, sometimes what happens is certain sadhanas people do get addicted to. For example, going to a particular temple or doing a puja. Then they keep doing it because they are addicted to doing that. But the understanding should be that this is all about for my purification. Ultimately, it is for me to get jnana. That thought and that clarity should be there at all times. And if there is a conflict between class and sadhana, if we think that by going to the class we will be displeasing the Bhagavan by not doing that sadhana, it is not true, because Bhagavan himself will not be displeased if you are not doing that sadhana, if you are coming to the class, because it is about, ultimately it has to culminate in knowledge. Bhagavan says everything can be dropped for Atma Jnana, but again I will qualify here, if that knowledge, if the understanding, there is a gap between what is being studied as against what is being absorbed, then there is a need for us to do other sadhanas to purify the mind. But even when we do the other sadhanas, we will have to keep remembering that this sadhana is only a means and not an end by itself. So we can do step by step. So first understand the roadmap, then do the sadhanas until we get the desire for moksha. The mumukshutvam should be tivram, should we have it. And once we have that mumukshutvam, if we have enough punya, we will come to know that moksha can be attained through jnana only, and then we have to turn ourselves into a jignasu, and then we come to do atma vichara, and then finally attain jnana. So spirituality is actually a step-by-step process. We cannot stay in the same step for too long. As in, we have to stay in that step until we reach the benefit that that step is supposed to give us. And we should not feel a guilt that when we drop one particular sadhana and take up another sadhana. There is no, as long as we are moving towards jnana. So for the sake of jnana, one can and one must drop other sadhanas. But remember, those sadhanas cannot be dropped for any lower benefit. Suppose if there is a conflict between going to a temple and going to a movie, obviously Bhagavan will say going to a temple is better, because this is considered as a sadhana, that is not considered as a sadhana. In normal cases, so any sadhana must not be dropped for an inferior alternative. When we are climbing stairs, we remember, if we lift our leg, one leg on this particular step, and if we lift our leg, we can always either go up or go down. In spirituality, if we drop a sadhana, it should be to get hold of a higher sadhana only and not to go to a lower one. So instead of going to temple in the evening, if we attend a Gita class, that is actually seeking higher goal. If on the other hand, if instead of going to a temple, I go to a movie, then it is actually moving to a lower sadhana. So Bhagavan says all sadhanas should be taking us to the final step of spirituality, which is Atma Jnana. So here Bhagavan says, Arjuna, Jnana-Yajña is superior to other yajñas involving materials, and every action without exception culminates in knowledge. Now Bhagavan has got us interested in knowledge. So the next question is, how am I to get this knowledge? Where am I to get this knowledge? What should I do to get this knowledge? Now that is where Bhagavan is going to say in the next sloka where and how this jnana must be attained. So we will go to sloka number 34. It's a very popular sloka. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnāninas-tattva-darshinah. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnāninas-tattva-darshinah. So here Bhagavan says that in the previous sloka Bhagavan had said jnana alone gives us moksha. For moksha, jnana alone can be the cause, or rather jnana is the only way that a person can attain moksha. So what sort of jnana? From where it can be attained? How it has to be attained? How should one be for attaining this jnana? Those are the things that are being answered in this sloka. First of all, we have to understand that in our life, even to come up with this conviction that jnana is my goal, moksha is my goal, even to come to that conviction, one requires lot of punya. When we say punya means sadhanas. One should have done lot of sadhanas, tapas, to come to that conviction that jnana is my goal, moksha is my goal. The wisdom to know that moksha is my goal, and to attain that moksha, I must get knowledge. To attain that particular wisdom and that clarity, to get that also, one needs to have a lot of tapas. The jnana wisdom, to attain jnana, knowledge, is a result of numerous tapas that a person should have performed in multiple lives. Because why? Because first of all, to get this knowledge, I should have realized that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow. If I continue to think that others are the cause for my sorrow, if everything outside is the cause for my sorrow, then I would never realize that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, and therefore I would never seek knowledge, because knowledge is sought only to overcome ignorance. And as long as I don't have this clarity that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, I will never come to, or I will never show full interest to Jnana. So the first thing is, I should have realized that ignorance, Ajnana, is the cause for my sorrow. The world is not giving me sorrow. Therefore, I should not be looking to change the people around me. I should not be looking to change the world. I am suffering due to my ignorance, and therefore I need knowledge, and I should be hungry for that knowledge. And that is a result of tapas. And some people come to this stage. Many people do not come to this stage. Many people do not even come to this stage. There are some people who come to this stage, but after that they slip. And what slip is that? They come to the stage that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, but there could be a problem on how to attain this knowledge. Some people think that meditation is the means to get jnana. Some people think that jnana, nama sankirtanam is way to, you keep doing nama sankirtana, one day you will get jnana. That is what some people have this misunderstanding. What is important to realize is that if ignorance is the cause for sorrow, then knowledge is the remedy, and only knowledge can give moksha. And to get knowledge, one must study, one must get this knowledge. One cannot get this knowledge by sitting and meditating. Can somebody wants to study physics, will they sit and meditate upon physics to get that knowledge? That is not possible. Now, once we realize that the knowledge is important, the next important thing to realize is the source for this knowledge. And Bhagavan here says, the source is from Guru and Shastras. And it is not just any Guru, it can be only got from a Guru teaching Vedanta Shastras. This knowledge is available only in Vedanta. It is not available in other Gurus. There are various other Gurus. This knowledge can be got from a Guru who is teaching Vedanta only. And only through Shabda Pramana. What kind of inference? Can we say by teaching this knowledge, I am going to go to this a lab, do an experiment, and from that experiment I am going to infer, or I am going to get this knowledge through my own experience after getting this knowledge from the Guru? No, it is not through these pratyaksha pramana or anumana pramana, those things. The pramana for this knowledge is only Shabda Pramana. In fact, for other things in life, if you want to know, there are certain things that we can get the knowledge by experience. For example, if I want to know that whether fire is hot or cold, I don't need a Guru to tell me that. I can go and touch the fire, I'll be able to understand fire is hot. Or if I want to do a japa, I can take it from the Guru, but then afterwards I am actually on my own to do my own mantra japa. I can always follow what my family elders have been doing. So there are certain things in lives for which we do not need a Guru. For certain sadhanas, if you think, for certain sadhanas it is better to have a guru, but it can be managed without also. But for Vedanta Shastra, it is not possible to do without a guru. Without coming to class, without understanding the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad from the Sampradaya, we will not be able to understand much. Even if we try to read by ourselves, it will be very difficult to understand. So Bhagavan says Vedanta knowledge must be got from a guru. Now this answers where should one get this knowledge. Now what should be the guru's lakshana? That is in the second line of the sloka. We will see that later. Before that, we will see this knowledge has to be got from guru. How should we attain this knowledge? What should be the attitude when receiving this knowledge? That is given in the first line. And Bhagavan says, how should it be received? Bhagavan says by asking and listening. By asking and listening, one can attain this knowledge. One must attain this knowledge. Okay, asking and listening. What should be the attitude when listening and gaining this knowledge then? That is also important. What should be the change in our attitude when we listen to this knowledge, when we gain this knowledge? So there is a story, there is a story of a person. This person had a lot of bad habits and he wanted to get mantra diksha from a guru. So his guru, he kept going to the guru asking for mantra diksha. The guru refused, saying, look, you need to drop certain habits and until that time this upadesha cannot be done. The person kept on insisting. So one day the guru said, okay, let's go for lunch. And then they went to the dining room, the ashram. The guru took a plate which was very unclean, with cobwebs and cockroaches in it. And then he placed the plate in front of himself and he said, ask the person to serve him food. So the person said, look, Guru, if I serve food on this plate, the food itself would turn rotten. The Guru said, in the same way, if we give mantra diksha to this unclean mind, the mantra itself would lose its power. And just as the plate must be cleaned before serving food, the mind must be cleaned before it can be given mantra diksha. In the same way, for gaining this knowledge, there are certain things that have to be done, prerequisites, so to speak. And that is given in the first line. In other words, Bhagavan gives Shishya Lakshana in the first line, Guru Lakshana in the second line. So the first line, Tad Viddhi. Tat Viddhi. Tat means that. That means what? That knowledge. Bhagavan had already spoken about knowledge in the previous sloka. So here he is referring to knowledge. That knowledge. Viddhi. Viddhi means you may gain. Tad Viddhi. You may gain that knowledge. Viddhi means know that. Here, Tat, we say, Tat means actually has two meanings. One is either Jnana, which is that knowledge, which is Brahma Jnana, Atma Jnana, we can say, or we can say Jnana-Upāya. Know the means of, Jnana-Upāya means to gain that knowledge. Know the means to gain that knowledge also can be used. And Bhagavan gives 3 lakshanas for a Shishya here. As in, what sort of attitude must a Shishya have? We will see one by one. Tad Viddhi, know that. Pranipatena. Pranipatena means prostration. Shashtanga Namaskara. Normally when we are asked to do Namaskara, it is not for exercise. Namaskara, by doing Namaskara, what happens is, our body comes down to the floor. And if you look at it, the last part that needs to come down is the mind. And our mind must come down. Mind meaning the antakarana, which is we have to submit our ahankara also. We have to bring our ahankara to the ground. And this namaskara is unique to our culture. No other culture have this namaskara where the entire body must be prostrated in front of the person. And in our culture, the student submits himself to the Guru, himself or herself to the Guru. In other countries, there is no submission by the student. In fact, in our culture, the Guru is accorded respect, whereas in other cultures, the professor is called by his name. Here, Guru Bhakti is given importance, prominence. Shastra say, if you do not have Bhakti towards the Guru, one will not get that knowledge. It is important to remember that. So Bhagavan says, pranipatena, which means by doing namaskara. In other words, it represents vinayam. Vinaya means humility, obedience, the surrender of ahankara. If we have ahankara, we will not do the namaskara. This is the most important sadhana for a Shishya. For any other knowledge, we can probably gain without humility. Even then, it is not recommended. But you may get that knowledge without humility. But for Atma Jnana, for Vedanta Jnana, it is not easy to attain. Therefore, humility is a must. Guru Bhakti is a must. Prostration. It is not about physically lowering the body alone. It is an expression of humility. Now, question is, why should I surrender the ahamkara? Why should I surrender? That is the question. Why should I prostrate? Why should I do the namaskara? The thing is, as long as we keep thinking and feeling I, me, we will not have an open mind which is required to receive this knowledge. This knowledge is about surrendering ahankara. This knowledge is about reducing our ego. Say someone in the society who is well qualified and he is in a high position, say, and he's holding a high office. So when everyone salutes or praises that person, what happens? In the office, when everybody salutes and his ego keeps going up. The reason being, when the world gives him the treatment, his ego gets strengthened automatically. And with that same ego, if that person comes to a guru, it will be difficult for the guru to remove his ahankara. So the person will have to remove the ahankara, or if possible, remove the ahankara on his own. Or in some cases, what happens is, the person might have knowledge on so many other things that the guru may not have knowledge on. Or the Shishya may have an expertise on other shastras. Say for example, Vyakarana, Samskrita, grammar, or Tarka, which the guru may not be. So what happens in that case? The guru might ask the Shishya as to what the Tarka says in this context. So the guru might explain something and then he might call upon the Shishya to say, now what does Tarka say in this context? Now the Shishya will answer, and he will have the humility also. That's because the Shishya knows that though he might know other subjects, he does not have Vedanta Jnana. The guru may not have the knowledge on other subjects, but the guru has Vedanta vision. That is important. If you take an example, Swami Omkarananda was qualified on various things. He was extremely qualified on Agama Shastra, on so many texts, on Tamil Vedantic texts, Tirukkural, he had knowledge on so many things. He was Shishya of Swami Paramarthananda. Swami Paramarthananda taught him only Vedanta. But Swami Omkarananda had so much of Guru Bhakti for Swami Paramarthananda. So those are all Sishtachara, living examples for us. So therefore, however qualified we may be, humility, removing ahankara is an important sadhana. That is what Bhagavan calls here as pranipatena. Pranipatena. Now, next one is sevaya. Sevaya means seva, Guru Seva, performing service to the Guru. In Gurukul, the Sishyas will be the ones who will be performing all sorts of work in the ashram. And here too we can bring various benefits. What is the benefit that Seva does to a Sishya? We'll see two of them. One, say there is a brahmachari who comes to Guru for an Atma Jnana. And he's come directly as a brahmachari, which means he is not going to take up grihastha ashrama, and that's because he has got some vairagya. He has come to the ashrama as a brahmachari. Now, though he may have a little bit of vairagya, what happens is everybody will have some bit of raga dvesha, kama krodha, all of them in the mind, and it could be a little dormant also. So Shastras say Karma Yoga is the sadhana to remove Kama Krodha, Raga Dvesha and all. But what happens? This Sishya has given up Grihastha Ashrama. He is going to take up Sannyasa. Karma Yoga is best done, or the best place to do Karma Yoga is Grihastha Ashrama. Because that is where you have the opportunity to do Panchamahayajñas and all the actions in terms of dealing with people and all those things. So for this person to remove the impurities of the mind, the Karma Yoga for this person will be the service that he does to the Guru. And through that service, he can actually perform Karma Yoga and thereby purifying his mind, reducing Raga Dvesha in his mind. So how does this seva help Shishya? It acts as Karma Yoga. It helps to remove the likes and dislikes. This is the first benefit. So it helps to remove Kama, Krodha, Raga, Dvesha, because he does seva to the Guru without expecting anything in return. The important thing is all seva means not expecting anything in return. Not even the sense of gratitude. That is called a seva. Now the second most important benefit is that what sort of knowledge does this Guru give? Why does a Shishya come here? Why does a Shishya come to the Guru? If you look at it, if a person is contented, the person is happy with the family life, he is happy with his professional life, he is happy with his personal health, he is happy with his financial health, will that person ever come to a Guru? He might come to a Guru for doing namaskaram, seek blessings and then just leave. Because there is no reason for him to feel anything lacking. Vedas say that a Sishya will come to the Guru, especially for Vedanta, as if he is searching for water when his head is already on fire. When his hair is already on fire, how important is for that person to seek water, or how urgent it will be for him to get water. That sort of urgency is what the Sishya will show when he comes to the Guru. In the same as in, he is burnt by samsara and he is seeking some kind of a permanent and immediate remedy. And how does this happen is, only when the Shishya goes out to the world, seeks happiness in the world, and then realizes that the world only gives dukkham at the end. Every relation, every person, every activity do not seemingly gives happiness in the beginning, but only gives dukkham at the end. Once that person realizes that, that person gets vairagya, then reaches out to Guru. And then the Guru reveals that you are Ananda Swarupa. You don't need to seek happiness. You are happiness. So the Shishya has come as a Dukhi. Now the Guru says, you are Ananda Swarupi. Now how will this Shishya be convinced? How will he be convinced that I am feeling Dukkham? How can you say that I am Ananda Swarupa? So therefore there is a huge gap or a difference between one's experience and Vedantic teaching. Now this gap is there. This gap is known to the Shishya. So in spite of knowing this difference, in spite of knowing this gap, the Shishya must listen to Guru's teaching. The Shishya's experience is different. The Guru's teaching is opposite. So how can this person be ready and listen to this? This person can do that only when the Shishya has Shraddha. The Shraddha is important. The Shraddha is going to be the bridge to go from Dukkha to Ananda Swarupi. Only if he has the Shraddha, he will be able to travel. This process is not overnight. This process is not instantaneous. That I am Dukhi, I come to a Guru and the Guru says, you are Ananda Swarupi, okay, done, I am finished, I am happy. It doesn't happen. It happens over days, weeks, months, years, births. So until the time that I will have to be in that path, I need to have Shraddha. Until that ignorance turns into Jnana, for that person to remain in journey, it can only be possible if there is Shraddha. What Shraddha? When we ask, Guru says, you attain this Jnana, you will be relieved of Raga Dvesha, you will be relieved of Kama Krodha, you will be a Shanta Swarupi. Now when Guru says this, how can the Shishya or when can the Shishya have Shraddha on these words? It is possible for him only when he goes to the Guru and he is able to see the benefits of the teachings in the Guru. Whether the Guru is not affected by things around him, whether the Guru is able to take things equally, whether that how much of it has gone, the Guru has been able to experience the benefits of what he is teaching. The Shishya then realizes that Guru knows something that he does not know himself, and that is the reason why Guru is able to be like that. So the Guru, at that point of time, the Shishya does not see Jnana, but he is able to see the Jnana Phala in Guru. And through that he gets Shraddha. And now, how can that person know or see the Jnana Phala in Guru? Only when the Shishya gets close to the Guru, beyond the class timings. How does he? And so beyond the class timings, he is able to see closely the Guru. How is he dealing with the world? Does he get affected by everything happening around him? Then say, okay. And then now question is, how does he get close to the Guru beyond the class timings? Only through Guru Seva. So what does Guru Seva ultimately give? Guru Seva ultimately gives Shastra Shraddha. It is true everywhere, right? Even if you go to a doctor, when do we go to a particular doctor? Only when we hear that the doctor had actually treated somebody else whom we know and they were happy with the result and the doctor was effective. Then we get automatically Shraddha on the doctor. It is the same way from this one also. So there can be many benefits for the seva. When we say pariprashnena sevaya, when we say sevaya, one, seva gives us chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. The second is seva gives us shraddha through jnana pala darshana. So those are the benefits of sevaya. Pranipatena sevaya we saw. Pariprashnena we have to see. Next one is pariprashnena. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. We saw pranipatena and sevaya. We will now come to pariprashnena. Pariprashnena means asking the questions in the right manner. Remember, it is very important to ask questions. Only then the Guru will know whether the Shishya has mumukshutvam or not. According to Shastras, there is a constraint for the Gurus actually. The Guru is not supposed to reveal this knowledge or give this knowledge to a person who does not ask. And not only that, actually speaking, the Guru should not give this knowledge even if the person asks, until he validates whether the person is qualified enough to receive this knowledge. So the first thing that the Shishya must do is to ask, pariprashnena. Why did Bhagavan give this knowledge to Arjuna, not to Yudhishthira, not to Dhritarashtra, not to Bhima, not to Duryodhana? The first answer is, straightforward answer is, because Arjuna asked. So asking is important. Pariprashnena means asking. What is asking? Asking at the right time and with proper inquiry. And pariprashnena is important. It is Shishya's responsibility to ask, and it denotes the jignasu in the Shishya. The thirst for knowledge should be there. So there are three qualifications for Shishya. Pranipatena, which is prostration, in other words, humility is important. Seva or Shraddha, Sevaya means Shraddha is important. So humility, Shraddha, and Pariprashnena, in other words, Jignasa. So this knowledge can be got only by humility, Shraddha, and questioning. In Tamil we say, Panindu, Panividai Seidu, Kettu Peravendum. The knowledge has to be Panindu, Panividai Seidu, Kettu Peravendum. One more thing Shishya must have here is, which is given, we have to understand, is Sādhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Now we'll come to the Guru. Now the second line here says, Bhagavan talks about what sort of Guru to reach out. Upadeksyanti te jnanam, jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Upadeksyanti. Upadeksyanti means will impart. Jnanam. Jnana means knowledge, that knowledge. Te, to you. So Bhagavan says, if to Arjuna or to us basically, if you go as mentioned in the first line, what is mentioned in the first line? Paranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. If you go as mentioned in the first line, then they will impart that knowledge to you. So Shankaracharya in his Mundaka Upanishad Bhashya says, Jnāya prapta satsishyam. A guru should not reject a good Shishya who comes with right intention. This is the duty of a guru. A guru should not reject a good Shishya. Will a guru get anything bad if he does not? No, he does not. As in, why does a guru teach? If you look at it, in another place, Shankaracharya says, Guru teaches because of kripa, of compassion. He teaches due to his compassion. He is not teaching to gain punya. And by not teaching, he is not going to get any papa also. So why does a guru teach? Out of his kripa, out of his compassion. Now for guru, Bhagavan here gives two lakshanas. One, Jnāninas tattvadarshinaha. First one is Jnāninaha, the wise. As in, the one who has listened to Brahma Tattva, one who has undergone this learning properly, one who has listened about Atma. That is Jnāninaha. Now Tattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshina means one who has realized the truth, one who has realized the Atma. And Bhagavan uses plural here. Jnāninaha tattvadarshinaha. Bhagavan used plural here to accord respect to the Guru. Now, when we take this word Jnāninaha tattvadarshinaha, we can also mean Jnāninaha means, in another place Shankaracharya used Shrotriya Brahmanishta as the Guru Lakshana. So Jnāninaha means Stotriya. Tattvadarshinaha means Brahmanishta. Stotriya means one who has learnt the Shastras properly. Which means this person should have learnt from another Guru. And that Guru should have learnt from another Guru. And that Guru should have learnt from another Guru until we should have seen a parampara starting from Sadashiva Samarambam. If someone says, I am self-learned, I got this knowledge from my own experience I have built this knowledge, or I had sat in a meditation, this knowledge dawned upon me, and I am giving you this knowledge, then that is not a Shrotriya Guru. We should not go to that Guru. So what is learning Shastras properly means? Shastras say, Pada Vakya Pramana Nyaha. Nyaha means one who knows. Pada Vakya Pramana Nyaha means he knows Padam Vakyam Pramanam. Pada means words. In other words, what it means is grammar, Vyakarana. This person should know Vyakarana or grammar. Then Vakya means sentence. Sentence, in other words, when a sentence is split, what is this Purva Mimamsa which has analyzed this for its validity? What is the correct interpretation of that particular sentence? That is called as Vakya. And then finally, Pada Vakya Pramana. Pramana means Tarka Shastra. Tarka Shastra means logic. Only in Tarka Shastra we will do Vichara. Tarka Shastra is the one we talks about Pramanas also. Whether it's Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumani Pramana, Arthavati Pramana, and all those various Pramanas. So Sampradaya says, if one has to study this Vedanta Shastra deeply, then one has to learn Vyakarana, Mimamsa and Tarka Shastra. So that it gives him Pada Vakya Pramana Jnanam. What we have to understand, the base understanding of these three are enough. And that person, as long as he is learned from another Guru through the Sampradaya, then that person is called as Stotriya. Remember, Vyakarana, Mimamsa, Tarka are all not part of Vedanta Shastras. But they help in learning Vedanta. So that is Stotriya. Stotriya means one who has learnt from another Guru. Now what is Brahmanishta? Remember, it is not compulsory that a Stotriya must understand Atma Tattva. We will get a doubt here. Now, this person has studied Vyakarana, Mimamsa, Tarka, and yet we say that not every stotriya may have full understanding of Atma Tattva, then what are we to say about ourselves who we do not have a proper understanding of Vyakarana, Mimamsa or Tarka? Why a person may not have a full understanding of Atma Tattva? Because unless that person have the qualifications that Bhagavan had earlier given, which is humility, seva, seeking, asking that knowledge, whatever that person would have got, would be available only as words, shabda. It would not have converted within himself as artha, as in meaning. So the person is capable of, any person, some persons, not any person, some persons maybe are capable of repeating what has been said. So who is a Brahmanishta? Brahmanishta is one who has all the qualifications mentioned by Bhagavan in the previous sloka and also in the previous line, and also has Sādhana Chatushtayam. And Brahmanishta is a person, not only he has got all the qualifications, he has sought from the Guru, he has done seva, he has been able to get that knowledge. He has also done Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. He is able to establish himself in Jnana, in Atma. Such a person is called Brahmanishta. Now, what are the types of Guru? We know Stotriya, Brahmanishta. What are the different types of Guru under this combination? We will see them in the next class. Any questions or comments? Okay. If not, we will see again in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.